Hello, it's Greg Otten here with MaritimeGardening.com, and I'm going to build another trellis today. I think this is my fourth trellis video, and this is a trellis for heavier things like cucumbers and stuff. And I'm still using that cheap old jute twine because this is exactly the way I built my trellis last year for my cucumbers. I just trained them up a trellis. They don't need much, and I find this thin, cheap dollar store jute twine is perfectly strong enough to support them for a season. And as I've mentioned before, why I like this material is that you can just throw it away. It'll biodegrade, so it just becomes compost when you're done. You just cut it. It's so easy and so quick to cut up your trellis when you're done and put everything away. So that's why I like it. And you just reuse the sticks. Most of the sticks that you can see standing up here are the ones I used last year. A couple of them are new, and you don't need anything fancy. These are all just old dead trees and stuff like that. So you can do each line. What am I trying to say here? You go along and you wrap each one around each stick, and you can do each line one at a time. But I'm going to show you here a way to go along a lot quicker. So you tie your first one on, and then you work your way along, tying or just wrapping it around once. Each stick, and the sticks are about 2.5 feet apart, half a meter, whatever that is. That's not half a meter. Anyway, 2.5 feet, give or take. And at the end, what you do is you wrap it around twice, and then one goes underneath. And by doing that, it keeps that tier, right? That part of the trellis from drooping at all. I mean, friction we're probably holding on anyway. But that's just a way to make it extra certain that it'll hold on. And then you just work your way around. So the reason why, and that way you don't have to keep cutting it and mucking around with it, right? Here we go. Underneath and then up, right? You just wrap around a couple times, find another place to start from, and off you go, right? Like that. Now I've sped it up a little bit because, I think you get the idea. But this was a morning before I went to work, right? I just came out here and I was outside for about 20 minutes. I just did this one side, and the next morning I did the other side. It's been really rainy here lately, so I haven't been doing a lot of recording. I did this middle of the week. I'm doing this voiceover right now on Sunday, and it's still pouring rain outside. So all this rain's great, but not very good for filming. So you work your way all to the top, and just again one wrap around each tier. I try to. You notice these sticks are not perfect; they got lots of imperfections, and I almost prefer that because if there's this little bit of roughness or a nub or something hanging off of them, it just helps to keep the string in place and seems to keep the friction. But this is all just dead sticks that were lying around. That's perfectly enough strength. If you're going to use steel poles or aluminum or conduit, but you use whatever you can get your hands on. But my general advice to anyone is don't spend money on this stuff, right? Don't, unless you have to. If you're in some urban place and you just can't find things. But I think you'd be surprised if you go around on garbage day what people throw out. I used to, I've lived in some fairly developed areas. I used to live in a place called Hamilton. It's a city. And just on my street, I didn't have a big garden there. I just had tomatoes in the backyard and a couple things like that. I was renting the basement of a house, and I had use of the backyard so I could grow a few things. And even there, I would get most of my stuff from just people's trash. It's never made any sense to me to buy things when there's something perfectly serviceable lying around that nobody needs or wants. This doesn't make any sense, aside from the fact that it's an environmentally responsible thing to do. Just on a sheer pragmatic point of view, it never made any sense to me. It's also quicker, right? If my neighbor throws away something that will work, it's easier to just fish it out of their trash than to go all the way into a hardware store and buy something. This doesn't make sense to me. I wasn't scratching my butt there. I was sticking the scissors in my back pocket. Just kind of looked kind of conspicuous there. Now, what am I doing here? if you want it to be super strong, and I did a trellis like this before, you should attach some sticks going horizontally along the very top. But what I've done is just doubled up that top line to make it a bit stronger, and then run these pieces down. And you know, you could probably, if you're in a rush or whatever, you could probably get away without having these middle weaved bits there. But you know, if you got a couple, it takes a minute, right? So, and in terms of training the cucumbers up, I mean, you just use whatever you can use. I was cutting little. You just noticed I tied one on a little bit. I didn't even tie it. I just wrapped some of that jute. The good thing about jute is it sort of sticks to itself, and like a kind of cheap Velcro. Not well, but you wrap it around a plant like any sort of squash type plant. It's got all those little bristles, and you know, it just sort of sticks to it. And it doesn't take much to train it up like that. But for that matter, you can use anything, an old piece of grass or some sort of weed, anything that's bendy that'll wrap around there. You can use anything. You don't have to. It's not that sophisticated. You're just training something up. So that's just about the end of this video, and you get the general idea. I did the other side the next day. Just train them up there, and every couple of days you see where they are, and give them a little nudge in the right direction, and it should work out fine. So I hope that was useful. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like, share, subscribe. And until next time, get out there, get at it, and have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.